Thanks so much for joining us today, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
So you are going to be the new General Manager of Microsoft. What's brought on that change and when do you get started in the role?
So what brought on that change was a very lengthy interview process. No, ultimately it's actually why I did join Microsoft, hoping to get this role. And I take over on the 1st of April, even though it's April Fool's Day. And I just can't wait. I'm so excited.
Cool. And so you're following on to quite a strong legacy from Barry.
Yeah.
So I know he's known particularly for his international partnerships. What do you bring to the role in particular, and do you think this will change the strategic direction of Microsoft?
Yeah, look, I mean, Barry's been amazing to work for, and certainly is the person that brought me into the organisation. And I think one of the reasons that Microsoft was so interested in myself is that I came back to New Zealand as a 17-year-old from Australia, and I've grown up here from my career perspective, landed in IT, and so I am very, very well networked within the enterprise business, especially because a lot of people that now are also CEOs of the business were potentially once customers of mine as operations managers. And so, because I've never left New Zealand for a career perspective, I definitely am very passionate about Aotearoa, know so many people, and I love it here. It's certainly not, I've been offered many a time different roles overseas, but this is where my heart is.
Yeah, great. You previously said that smart tech of the future will see everything and everyone connected. What do you think some of the key business streams and technologies that aspirational New Zealand businesses should have, especially for now, our current situation in 2020?
Yeah, well, look, data is the new oil, and we've got so much of it. We just don't know how to analyse it.
Yeah.
And that whole saying that everything's going to be connected, it wasn't that long ago. I remember watching that program Beyond 2000 and, talking about your fridge, talking to your local dairy to buy you the milk that's running out. I mean, that's all such a reality now. I mean, that's just table stakes. And in terms of consumers, and we want everything now, and so to get everything now you have to be connected, and and I think there's a real intrinsic fear in a lot of people about what that will mean. However, there's so much good that can come about it as well. And so, there is talk that when your child is born, they may have a chip inserted. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but even simple things like smartwatches, knowing where your kids are and safety, and I think there's just so much good. And I think, things are, apparently how many devices does one person have? And it's up to about 5 now, let alone everything else that's connected. So it is about the data. How do we harness it? What are we doing with it? And how are we analysing to make better decisions is what I believe is the new gold.
Great. So publicly, Microsoft has made quite a commitment to sustainability. How do you see this as part of your new role?
Oh, look, it's another reason I joined Microsoft, seeing things like, climate and global warming, and, we've just made some massive announcements around our missions, and even not only about what we're going to do moving forward, but actually undoing all of the wrongs of the past. And that's incredible. That's such leadership from a global perspective of saying, we are now educated, we have to put a stop to this, and we're going to do something about it. And, we announced $1 billion investment around that. And I just hope that other businesses step up and kind of go, yeah, actually, this is serious. This isn't a political issue. This is an individual, a corporate. Everybody's got to take note of it. So I think for me, what is that going to mean for New Zealand? Just so much. I mean, we haven't even started. And the fact that it's something at a Microsoft global perspective driving it means that we get the resourcing, the capacity, and the time actually to put towards these types of causes.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of that changing landscape, what are there particular industries that you see as thriving more than others?
Look, I don't have a personal opinion about that, and it is tricky. I just think it's more about the stamp of leadership, about saying I'm going to do something about this. It's pretty hard being an airline. However, watching that you can all offset your carbon emissions and things. I think there's some really cool things happening. Just so many pockets of it. We've just got to be doing more of it. And I think for my own, our children's generation and that next generation, what what legacy are we leaving behind?
Yeah.
And so, there is greatness, especially in New Zealand, awesome pockets, and I think everyone's got to take a leadership stance on it.
Absolutely. And particularly you've made a commitment to women in tech and diversity. How do you see this as fitting into your new role as General Manager of Microsoft?
Yeah, look, it's always been interesting for me, especially I always use the words growing up in IT. I was always sort of wheeled out as the woman. There weren't many men around me, and so I've always kind of been a bit peeved about the diversity tick because it's always felt that it's about a gender. For me, it's diversity of thought and inclusiveness. And I'm so proud to look around me now of so many women leaders in New Zealand running banks, running telcos.
Yeah.
Jolie Hodson was my old boss, now the CEO of Spark. There is just so many incredible women taking the lead. And I just think it's going to be the new norm. And I just think I'm a very open spokesman person around, I just wish more women supported women more. And, if we linked arms and did things together, we would achieve so much more. If I can help in any which way, whether that's being, a role model or, sharing my stories, and I think we all need to do that. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not a simple stream to get there wherever there is. It's a jungle gym. There's backwards and sideways, and sometimes I think people kind of look at the Instagram photo and think that's what it is, and it isn't. It's hardship, it's failure, it's tough. I think it's more about those stories, and I think encouraging women that they are, I always say, 80% better than they think they are.
Yeah, wow, that's a high percentage. And
they generally don't, right? They generally look at a job description, a male, and this is true. They go, yeah, I've got 10% of it. I'll go for it. Women, look, I've only got 90% of that capability. I won't go for it.
Yeah.
And I have been that person. I absolutely have been that person. And thank God worked with incredible mentors and sponsors that believed in me and said, you can do it. In fact, we knew you'd say that. So why is it that intrinsically we do feel not good enough or not worthy enough, pay parity, all of these things? This is the point, it's all going to change.
Yeah. Awesome. And so just on a final note, what drives your passion for tech?
It's not really tech, to be honest. I think what drives me is I am in the most incredible position to have a platform to do good.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm a mum of 2 incredible children, and I look at them and constantly asking what they want to do. And I don't really mind what it is as long as they dive into it, make every day the best day, make it count, be the best at it that they can be. And ultimately, both of them, if they chose the same career, would be paid the same. And I truly think that IT has been a real driving platform for a lot of that. And I just think, we haven't even started. You think of the Nike tick around the forces of change. It just blows me away every time I go up to Microsoft in Redmond and see what we're doing. I just go, really? Like, is that real? Have we already launched that? So if that's what I'm seeing and I'm in the business, it's just so much more coming and so many more platforms for people that go without. How do we give them accessibility to networks? How do we give educational tools to kids that potentially don't have the money or the means? Only 50% of the world have the internet. What are we doing about that? So this has got to be the time that we go, that can't happen anymore. We have to make sure that accessibility is for everybody.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for that, Vanessa.
No worries. Thank you.